My first thought was, good for you. I'm Team Liberia. you know, so good for you, and I'll support you in any way that's possible. And then he turns to me inside of the Saturday meeting and he says, I really think you need to go with us on this trip. Again, Team Liberia, not really that interested, but it planted a seed, just like planting the seed of going to Liberia, like Albertina did to me. And he said, I really think that you need to go on this trip, and it'd be a great opportunity for you to see Pastor Mark in action versus you just trying to take notes. You could actually experience the whole entire thing. So I was like, we'll see. And later on that night, it just kept on. It kept on stirring in my soul that I needed to be able to do this. And next thing you know, I'm in the fundraising process to go to Uganda. Now, here's the part. I found out about this at the beginning of February. We leave in April, and I had to have my first deposit by March 1st. And Pastor Mark, when he talked to me on the phone, he said, "You're not allowed to be able to use your own money to go on this trip." He
Why,
said,
why do you think that was?
so this is the thing that really resonated with me first, and it changed everything for me, even on taking people with us. He said, when you allow people to donate to you, whenever you allow them to donate to you going on this trip, you help them to be able to unlock their blessings. The Bible says that whenever you give, you'll receive it back tenfold. Not that you're supposed to expect to do that, but when you do, it unlocks blessings whenever you give without expecting anything in return. So them being able to donate to my trip maybe unlocking the blessing that they've been asking, praying, hoping for, right? So you're giving them the ability not only to enroll into your vision and your mission to be a part of something bigger, but you're also allowing them to unlock potential blessings on their side.
And now, a few minutes with two of my friends who will soon be yours, the Techie and the Cowboy.
All
Hey
right.
there, welcome to the next episode of Techie and the Cowboy. I'm TW Lawrence, otherwise known as the Cowboy, and
Alastair Hunt, also known as the Techie.
okay, so we're doing it slightly freelance and unusual in that my friend usually starts off and I get to play the secondary role. But today I get the chance to interview my friend, the techie, about his recent trip to Gulu, which is in Uganda on the continent of Africa.
Yes, sir.
So, why don't you start off and tell us why you decided to go to Uganda in the first place?
It's funny because this is my second trip to Africa, as you guys know, because we did kind of a review whenever I got back from Liberia last year. Around this time, I went to Liberia, which is in West Africa, right on the coast. We're actually have a nonprofit that is building a children's village inside of Malima Town, inside of Liberia. And that's been our mission for the past year. We've really focused on building that, and we've had some amazing accomplishments. We'll put the link to the 1 year review inside of the comments so you can check it out. So that was on my radar. I mean, even going to Liberia wasn't on my radar 5 years ago. It was just one of those things that God called me to do. I came in to help Kingdom Relationship Network as a nonprofit organization with their marketing. Albertina, who is the director, said, "Hey, I think you should go to Africa with this." And I said, "Not for me. I'll donate to help, but I'm not a travel overseas to Africa type of guy." And next thing you know, I'm on a plane, right? Amazing experience. And so much has transpired in that past year. Our goal was to go back to Liberia in November of last year, but it didn't work out. Albertina had a beautiful granddaughter. At the time we were supposed to leave, or she has actually the granddaughter was due, so she didn't want to leave and miss that. Good thing she did. She had a beautiful granddaughter, and it's just been postponed. This trip actually came up when one of my good friends, Brad, came to our men's group and said, "Hey, I'm finally able to." Brad's story is a really powerful story. At some point, he's going to be on the Techie and the Cowboy, where it is that he was in a car wreck and that he was a missionary. He traveled to Africa several different times, and I'm talking about like the Congo and dangerous parts of Africa. So he was the one that prepped me for Liberia. Like he was telling me what to expect, what to do, customs. So when he said, "I'm finally got the clearance for the doctor to go back on a missionary trip and we're going to Uganda," my first thought was, good for you. I'm Team Liberia. you know, so good for you, and I'll support you in any way that's possible. But the guy who actually runs the trip, Pastor Mark Bloom, He actually, I've been trying to connect with him for the past year because he knows how to take missionaries overseas to Africa. He's been traveling to Africa for 40 years. He's had his nonprofit for 20 years doing it, taking people back and forth, and taking like play equipment and all different types of things over to Uganda. And so I wanted to sit down with him and kind of figure out what's your formula on taking people overseas, because we have a lot of people that want to go help us in Liberia, but I've never taken anybody overseas. It's a whole different thing, you going versus taking people. But we just haven't been able to connect, right? Just schedules, whatever else. So when he said that he was running this trip, I was thinking, well, this would be a great way to be able to learn, but no. And then he turns to me inside of the Saturday meeting and he says, I really think you need to go with us on this trip. Again, Team Liberia, not really that interested, but it planted a seed, just like planting the seed of going to Liberia, like Albertina did to me. And he said, I really think that you need to go on this trip, and it'd be a great opportunity for you to see Pastor Mark in action versus you just trying to take notes. You could actually experience the whole entire thing. So I was like, we'll see. Later on that night, it just kept on. It kept on stirring in my soul that I needed to be able to do this, and I called back. I called back Brad and said, I think I'm going with you guys. He said, great. I'm going to connect you with Pastor Mark. Pastor called up Pastor Mark. He said, Brad gave you the okay. Pastor Kerry had been on trips with them before. Half of our team that had been on trips with Pastor Mark before, like several trips. So when they vouched for me, he said, if they vouched for you, they said that you're good, you're good. And next thing you know, I'm in the fundraising process to go to Uganda. Now, here's the part. I found out about this at the beginning of February. We leave in April, and I had to have my first deposit by March 1st. And Pastor Mark, when he talked to me on the phone, he said, you're not allowed to be able to use your own money to go on this trip. He
Why,
said,
why do you think that was?
so this is the thing that really resonated with me first, and it changed everything for me, even on taking people with us. He said, when you allow people to donate to you, whenever you allow them to donate to you going on this trip, you help them to be able to unlock their blessings. The Bible says that whenever you give, you'll receive it back tenfold. Not that you're supposed to expect to do that, but when you do, it unlocks blessings whenever you give without expecting anything in return. So them being able to donate to my trip may be unlocking the blessing that they've been asking, praying, hoping for, right? So you're giving them the ability not only to enroll into your vision and your mission to be a part of something bigger, but you're also allowing them to unlock potential blessings on their side, which was pretty profound to me. I never thought of it that way. You know what I mean? So you're giving people an opportunity to be able to get what they've been hoping and praying for by donating to you. And most of them don't know. Most of them are donating because they want to support you. Most of them are donating because they love the mission. They don't understand that they're actually unlocking blessings on their side, but you're allowing them to be able to do that. Which for guys like us, TW, we're very self-sufficient. We've got this, you know what I mean? I give to tons of different organizations. I love supporting stuff, but asking for help, humbling yourself to ask people is a whole different level for guys that are wired kind of like us that are self-sufficient. So not only was it a growth point to ask people and to send people out and let people know what I'm doing, but it was also a growth point because a lot of the people who it is I thought would jump right in and support me didn't support me right away. And a lot of people who it is that I hadn't talked to in a long, long time or that I wasn't suspected or expecting to support me jumped in and gave, right? And it wasn't about them. It wasn't like I was expecting them to do it, because it is that they had the money. It was just very humbling and surprising who it is that jumped in and supported me right out the gate that some of them I hadn't talked to in a long time. One couple I hadn't talked to in almost 10 years. And they were the first ones to pull the trigger and support. And that is a very humbling, and I was very honored by that. But it also let me know that God's got this. It wasn't me, it wasn't them, it was God moving. It was my first sign, being able to hit that first goal that I was meant to go on this trip. But it was all the way up until the end. I didn't get the last set of money literally until the very, very end, right before it is that we're going to leave. So it was also a process of trusting in God that He was going to be able to make this happen, right? Even had some different circumstances that happened the week before I was supposed to leave that normally wouldn't detract. I'm not gonna go into details of that, but normally would have detracted me from going. And I think it was just the enemy's way of trying to distract me because he knew how much I was gonna get from this trip and how much I'd be able to give to this trip as well. Because my whole goal was to be able to serve, to learn, and to just be open to what God had to reveal to me on this trip, because I had no clue where I was going. I don't even on the plane. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing on this trip. But when you open yourself up and you create space for God to move, and when God pushes you to move, and that's kind of my theme through this whole entire thing. When God tells you to move, you got to move, right? And when God was nudging me to move in such a strong way, I had to blindly follow what it is that He wants. And this last 5 years of my life has been blindly following the spirits in moments like these, and it's always paid off in big ways. So that's kind of the gist of why I went on this trip. Everybody's like, "Why Uganda? Why the change?" A lot of my I had to reassure my teammates in Liberia. I'm not forgetting about you guys. I'm going to learn how it is. The other thing is that they have a children's village. We're trying to build a children's village. They're 5 years in the process of building their children's village. So I want to go see, put my hands on something of somebody who's already done what it is that we've done. And that was probably the biggest benefit that I got from the trip, was being able to actually, see the progress of somebody who's been working on it hard day in, day out, learn from the things uh the hiccups that they ran and the speed bumps. So I mean, it was a blessing all the way around to be able to go on this trip.
How many people were on your group or in your group?
I believe so from our church there was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine of us from our church. But I think there was a
How
total of
many in total?
16 that were on the trip, 15 or 16, because you had Pastor Mark, his brother, another couple, and the other one. So yeah, it was like 16 or 17 of us that were in the group, which was great because I get to travel with the big group dynamics. We didn't really know each other. So we got to, when you travel that many hours together, you start to get to know the people on the trip. Good.
Okay. How long
Awesome.
did it take you to get there?
So the flight is 20 hours, right? And it's not, everybody thinks 20 hours like you're on a plane for 20 hours, but it's not. Flew from Dallas to JFK, which was 3. We had a couple hour layover or 2. We went from JFK to Amsterdam, which was 7.5 hours. And then the last leg of the flight is 8 hours. And then we stayed on the plane. We had a little 1 hour hop to get in there. So you get some breaks in between because you get to get off during the layovers, get food and not eat plain food, which is not always the best. It's not bad, but it's not ideal. And you get breaks. And it sounds a lot. That's what deters a lot of people from going on these trips. It's not as bad as you would think. You know
So
what I mean?
didn't it take you a while to get from wherever you
Yeah.
got off the plane to where you got to the
So,
mission field?
so Liberia was about 18 hours, right? So I had experienced a long flight, but I didn't. It's only like an hour away from where we have to go after we get to airport. This was what normally would have been a 5 hour bus ride to get to Gulu, because there was a bridge down, a major bridge down. We went through the national park, so it ended up taking us 10, almost 12 hours to get to where we were gonna go. And again, we stop and we get out. It's not like we drive straight. Now, the blessing in that is that we drove through the national park, so the wildlife and the animals that we got to see were absolutely mind blowing. I'll show some pictures of those in a minute. But I mean, there was an elephant that was literally right next to the bus, like you can reach out and almost touch him. I'm not trying to make him mad because I've heard of elephant stampedes and them ramming stuff, and I didn't need to be that bus that they turned over, right? But just you get to see the awe of God's nature up close and personal. The closest I've gotten to animals like that has been in a zoo through bars, you know. But to see them out in their natural habitat was absolutely worth the extra time. I can say that now, not when I was on the bus, it wasn't. I can say that now, looking back, that it was worth the extra time that we took. Being able to go through the national park. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So um, what was the high point of your trip
Let
in
me go
terms
through the
of,
pictures because I can point them out as is that we go
okay,
through it, because there were so many God moments. I call them God moments throughout the entire trip. It's easier to be able to show you than it is to be able to tell you, right, about the trip. All right, so let's do this. You ready?
ready?
Let's go. All right. So here we are in the airport, getting ready for the airport. This is Pastor Carrie. She's one of the associate pastors at our church, her and her husband. This is my good friend David. He's one of the guys inside of our men's group. Amazing guy. He's been on, I don't remember, like 6 trips to Africa, a lot. Him and his wife more so than him. Pastor Kerry's been on a few trips to Africa as well. So they were my resident gurus. They are one of the ones that actually I was following their lead as far as they had both been to Gulu before, and so they were kind of my confirmation that I needed to go on this trip, right? And so I was excited about them. One of the first experience that we had is that when we got on the plane, uh, when we actually got to the stopping point in the plane, we actually had to go out on the tarmac and walk up to get inside of the plane, which was pretty cool. So this is actually whenever we're actually on our connecting flight. So being able to have to take a bus to the plane to get out the tarmac and walk up yourself. And of course, I chose to have the heaviest backpack in the world in order to be able to take. So that was it. This is us inside of the airport. My mom actually came to meet us at the airport. She lives in Arlington. The airport's right there on the side of Arlington. Prayed over us. That was amazing. Sang us a song, which was pretty cool off the cuff. But this is the group from our church for the most part. So Monica and Joe are from our church. Monica, this is her 9th trip to Africa. Since she was a girl, she dreamed of being a missionary to Africa. So she goes pretty much every year, sometimes twice a year, to Africa. She's one of the nurses that went. You have Katharina right here. It was her first trip to Africa as well. She goes to our church as well. That's Monica's husband, Joe. He's a mechanic. This is actually Pastor Mark. He's the one that organized the trip, and his brother, after 40 years of going to trips to Africa, his brother in his 60s did his first trip to Africa. So this is his first trip. So it was a very meaningful trip for Pastor Mark for his older brother to go with them. David, myself, Pastor Kerry. So that's it. David and I on the plane, enjoying it. This is us going up on the connecting flight into the plane. This is when we got to Uganda. It was nighttime by the time we got there. I thought we were going to have to go straight into the bus ride. Thank the Lord that Pastor Mark and Reynolds, the guy that was hosting us, they knew better. They actually got us a hotel right by the airport, and we got about 4 or 5 hours of sleep before it is that we hopped on the bus. Much needed break in order to go. There goes Reynolds with our first bus that we rented. This is the one that took us from the airport to the hotel. This whole back half of the bus, and this is also the one that we took from the 10-hour journey in the ride, right? This whole back half of the bus is luggage, by the way. So we actually opened up the back windows and we were handing the driver the luggage through the windows because there was so much luggage. He had to take the back couple rows to be able to get on the bus. So it's pretty cool. This is the hotel that we stayed at whenever we had our nap. I call it a nap, right? Pretty cool indoor outdoor hotel place. This is us before it is we got on for the 10-hour journey. So here's the whole crew that was traveling with us. So a really, really cool picture there. The staff was here, was amazing. The first thing I had to do, one of my good friends, he grew up in Kenya, but he's born in Uganda, said Uganda has the best bananas in the world. So this is where I got to have my first Uganda banana, and it was amazing. It was great. It was super sweet. So good stuff here. This is us on the bus. Get old Randall getting comfortable, shoes off. But this is us on the first bus on the first trip there. As you can see, it's just a regular passenger bus. So you had your seats, and that was really about it. This will be over there on the left-hand side with my phone up as well. Drew got the seat. They drive on the opposite side of the road in Uganda. So the steering wheel's on the other side. So that takes a little bit to get used to. I kept on walking up to the would be the passenger side, which was the driver's side. And Randall was like, "Oh, you're gonna drive?" So uh, being on the other side of the road and seeing cars come at you. Also in Uganda, the lanes are fluid. So seeing people come on your side of the road whenever they needed to pass somebody, something I remembered. This is the park, the national park that we went through, that we detoured through because the bridge was down. So being able to go to the national park, as you see already on the national park, there's baboons everywhere throughout the whole entire country, but they were there waiting for tourists to throw them food. They said roll up your windows because there was a story of a lady who had her sunroof open. Baboon grabbed her purse, reached the sunroof, grabbed her purse, ran off, and threw all the stuff out looking for food inside of the purse. So they said roll your windows up when the baboons start walking up because they might come up and try and take your stuff. Little thieves, right? So really, really funny. Yeah. So that is Murchison Park. That's when we crossed over the Nile River,
Hmm.
which actually starts in Uganda, by the way. You don't realize how long the Nile River is, all the way through Uganda, all the way through Egypt. where it is that all the biblical stuff happened. But it's pretty cool being able to see across the Nile River. This is me feeding a banana.
What are you gonna do?
I'm about to let's see if it is that we get the sound here. This is me feeding a banana to one of the baboons. When we were rolling up, he said, "Hey, you want to feed a baboon?" I was like, "Is he going to jump through the window and take my stuff?" And so he said, "No, he's not going to jump through because we're going." So I decided I wanted to feed the baboon a banana. Driver pulled over his Jeep, photographer baboon. There they go.
Oh, he's coming.
They're coming. Oh, with the babies. They were a little bit skeptic
Let him see it.
first. He's like, "Oh, that's Mama." Mama said, "I don't know." I'm with a whole bunch of babies. To see a banana.
Oh, there's one in the woods coming out.
They give it a banana. Mama's protecting the baby.
Oh, look at these two guys scared over there.
Mama steps in front of the baby like they're not feeling it. Oh, this guy's coming. Come on, get a banana.
Yep, he's coming over.
He has something in his mouth. He's already eating. That sounds like a warning.
If you throw it down there, though, they'll
All
take
right,
it.
here we go. You ready? Here we go. Banana for you.
You're welcome.
Oh, there's a fight. Oh.
Time.
That was fun. But they were all over the road. I think they radioed ahead. This is supposed to get out because then all the baboons were like on the road after that, and you would get right up to them before they would move. So they very much were the kings of the road out there. But these were all over Africa. They were a lot of fun. This is the elephant I talked about. We got right up on, who was right on the side of the road, so we got to see an elephant right up close. That was our main objective. But it rained a lot there. When they rain, they go to the watering holes. So we didn't see as many elephants as we wanted to. But this was the guy. I'm glad he showed up right at the very beginning, and he was not intimidated by us. Open up the window and taking pictures of him or anything else like that. They said when they start flapping their ears, that's whenever it is that you have to worry because that means that they're aggravated. And they've been known to charge. So I was just watching flapping ears. But as we're driving the whole entire time, then there was lots of elephants and everything else. These are my favorite guys right here, the giraffes. And so this is the giraffe here. You see all kinds of interesting modes of transportation. This is one of my favorite. It's a taxi truck where they all just basically hop on the back of the truck and pile up. You saw a lot of this. You would see a lot of them. They have packages, and they would actually hold on to the truck and hang from the truck as it is that they went along. So this is one of the taxi trucks. This is if you've ever seen the movie The Machine Gun Preacher. There's a movie called The Machine Gun Preacher.
Yeah.
He has a whole bunch of gas stations in Uganda. So this was one of his gas stations that we stopped at. So the guy had the MGP gas and he had his AKs. He obviously had his machine gun around. So all the security was there. I asked him, could I take a picture with him? He said yes, because he had the MGP. So I had to get the Machine Gun Preacher official gas station guy there as well. It was kind of intimidating walking up to him with the machine gun and asking him to take a picture, but he was cool. So good stuff. One of the things that I love about Africa, both times that I went, is that it had God bless you. They're very open with their faith. So on a lot of the vehicles, a lot of the things, it has scripture and God bless you and a lot of stuff on there. And of course, Machine Gun Preacher found his faith. That's part of what drove him there. So it was pretty cool seeing that as well. The sunsets and the sunrises were amazing there. This is the bus as we pulled up to, you notice it's a different bus. So this is a different bus than the original bus. As we pulled up to World Embrace. World Embrace is the name of the place that we went to go serve. So this is us and all of our luggage. You see all that luggage had to fit in the back 2 rows of the bus that's over there on the right-hand side. But they have a restaurant, an American restaurant on their property called The Lookout. So people from the community would actually come and eat there. And this is where we ate, my goodness, some of the best food on the planet. I thought I was going to lose weight going to Africa, but I actually gained 15 to 20 pounds because the food at the Lookout was so good. And it's all natural ingredients. So the flavors were so abundant in regular stuff that they cooked American food for us. But the flavors are so abundant with the real vegetables and the real food. That was a big deal as well, right? All right, so then you have the fire pit right here. This is in the property. We had our daily devotionals. Every time it is that we would at the end of the day, we'd have a nightly devotional that we would do, which is pretty cool. Pastor Mark was very intentional with his integrating faith into the trip, which was great. So each one of us was responsible for doing the devotional each night. So one person would do one in the morning, one person in the evening, until we went through the whole entire group, which was a surprise to some of the people coming. They were like, "We didn't know we were gonna have to lead a devotional." So you have better be ready, because at any moment Pastor Mark could call on you to be able to do the devotional either in the morning or in the evening. So pretty cool. So this is one of the first nights of us gathering around the fire pit after we ate. That big tent in the background, that's where we ate outside every day. It was amazing. Outdoor, like a seating place where we ate. So really cool stuff. There goes Dave over there. This is World Embrace in the back, the building and the lookout. And again, I would wake up just to be able to see the sunrise in the morning. There's something about being in a different country, looking at the sky, hearing all the amazing animals, crickets, bugs, everything else, and just appreciating God's glory, right? So that was a big deal for me. First day, first thing that we did is we went to Gulu Community Park. This is what I went to go see. This is their version of our children's village, which is absolutely amazing. Gave me a lot of great ideas. The thing I like about Gulu Park is that they're building a children's village, but it's really like a children's theme park. But everything is about teaching them faith and showing them the love of God. So even though they may be coming for education, even though they may be coming for skills, they're going to be witnessed to in the whole entire time and see the love of God. So that is really amazing with that. So this is kind of like a tour of us going through the whole entire park. It was our day one video. If you go to my social media, you could hear the audio of the video, but it just shows how amazing this place was. One of the things that Pastor Mark said is we do everything with excellence. We don't want them to think because it's a third world country, they need third world materials and whatever else. So all of the materials here are raw materials. It comes in as trees. They have a lumber yard that they've created where they actually turn it into wood, and they have a brick maker where they actually make the bricks. So all this was created from scratch, right? Like, so they built the buildings, they did the wood, they did everything from scratch, which was super impressive. Because when we're thinking of our children's village, we're thinking of we're having to import all these different things. They gave me a different vision of being able to employ the different workers that are local to be able to build their village. Everything from electricians, they have a foreman, they have a safety officer. Everything is from local people who it is that they hire day workers to be able to come in. So it's pretty cool because they employ, like this day, they had almost 100 people from the local village. So they've been able to enhance the village by having all these different people come in to be able to work and to either learn or to have skills to be able to build it. Now here's the coolest part about that is that every morning Kathy does a devotional with the staff for the lookout, and Reno goes here and he does a devotional with the staff that's actually going to be working. So if you're going to work here, you're going to be a part of the devotional, right? Not forced, but it's just one of those things that's accepted. And so they have their morning service here every single morning before it is that they get to start working. Absolutely mind blowing. If you try to do something, first of all, that wouldn't fly here in the US, right? But just the fact that everything is intentional and everything is about helping people to be able to develop their faith. Shout out to Reynolds and Kathy for implementing this. We got to be a part of their first morning devotional there. And let me tell you, it's praise and worship at a whole different level. I mean, they were, oh, here's the raw materials. So that's the lumber yard. So they actually bring in regular trees and they turn them into actual wood that they use to build all the different things. And as you see these pictures, you'll see the beautiful woodwork and the beautiful staining that they do. And it's just hard to believe that they do all of this on site, on property. There's us standing in front of the children's village part of it. Each color is a different building that's going to do different things. Like the orange is the chapel. This is the computer and the media room. They have like a language and teaching room. They have a like a movie room as well. And on the far left, you'll see pictures later, is going to be one of Uganda's largest libraries, and that they're building, and with the archive, all different types of books. This is actually the engineering and learning building, where they're actually going to have one of the companies that builds stuff out of Legos that allows you engineers out of Legos sponsor this. So it's going to be a big thing where when kids can learn how it is to be able to be engineers, craft, and get into architecture and all that kind of stuff. Really cool building as well. right? This is kind of like a sky view from one of the top towers of the park, so you can oversee the park. This play set right here, the same group that I went with back in, I don't know, right after COVID or right before COVID, built this play set. We came to build another play set over here in this dirt area, over in the far right-hand side. We came to be able to build that play set. So we came to build the second play set from the same entire group, which was pretty cool. That was one of our main missions. But you can see, look at this beautiful woodwork and these amazing huts. These were all built from the ground, from scratch by the workers there. Everything from the rock work to the paving, everything was done and created on site. The only thing they had imported is some of these trees, but some of them they had them imported as babies, and now they're growing into full-on pine trees. Just absolutely amazing and beautiful property. And to be able to see this in fruition, because our vision is big for our children's village, was so encouraging to me. And these things are tall. I mean, these things are, this is like, 20, 40 feet off the ground, these big tired things. So just amazing. And this just shows you some of the woodworking inside of it, and how beautiful the woodworking is. Pictures do not do it any justice. I had seen the tour of the village before I got there. And when I was there, it blew my mind. It was like going to Disney World, but inside of Gulu, right? So just an amazing, amazing property. This is one of my favorite parts. So they had to have water for all this stuff, right? And they had to have water for the property. So they built a water well there, but they didn't just build it for Gulu Park. There's actually a little spout that goes outside of the fence where the local townspeople could come and get water. And I wish I had put in the picture of what the water hole looked like before that they were getting it from. Contaminated, lots of stuff. People upstream were washing their clothes, and they're drinking this water. So for them to have they have a filtration system that is actually, there it is. They have a water pump, a filtration system that is solar driven, and then it pumps to the tower, which then there it is on the left hand side. It pumps to the tower, which then provides water free of charge for the local people, so they can come and they can fill up their containers with water. I think that's beautiful. Everything that Reynold and Kathy does is with intention, and all of it's about giving back and having the people have a better experience. Just an unbelievable organization. I mean, just at the next level. These are some of the basketball courts that they have. They actually have two sets of basketball courts. They have one that's like a smaller court, a smaller set of courts, and then this is the more professional with the pavers and everything else like that, and the built-in bleachers basketball court. This guy right here in the middle, his name is Todd. He didn't come with our group, but he met with our group halfway in the trip. He's actually from Mississippi, and he works for an organization that sent him down for 6 weeks to be able to train to train in basketball. So train coaches how to teach basketball and to start a basketball program at World Embrace. Amazing young guy, super Christ-led. I think he's also a pastor as well. So getting to know him was one of the first. I immediately connected with him. So getting to know him was one of the most fun parts. This is him seeing the basketball courts for the first time. He's blown away, but he's already running camps. And I have a little bit of video later of him playing with the kids on the court. This is their soccer field. Soccer is huge in Uganda. It's probably the most important thing. It's like football is or baseball is here in the US. It's soccer there. So they built this huge soccer field, which is absolutely amazing. And that's a big deal for them as well. So this is Reynolds painting the vision of the soccer fields, and they're going to build volleyball field or sand volleyball and non-sand volleyball courts. And his vision of what he wanted to do with the property was also very, very inspiring. Like he had this big vision of building a big lake where they're going to do baptisms with the island in the middle where they're going to do baptisms for people who it is that want to come out and get baptized. And just hearing his vision and how he painted it out. He's the visionary. Kathy's the one who has to put all the finances together and make it work. So there's such an amazing couple to be able to work together because he has the big vision. She trusts in his leadership, and then she takes care of the staff and the finances and all the stuff to be able to make sure it's all running. Amazing, amazing couple. This is just another area where it is that people meet. This is actually has some seating here, and then you can see how tall, how high that is up. I'm on the ground here taking this picture, and there's us sitting in front of it, right? So you can see how tall this lookout tower is where I took the picture at the first place. Just absolutely amazing there, right? That's the old playset that was built before. It's a close-up view of the one that they built before, and that was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. So it's pretty cool being able to come in and to build another playset. There's us assembling the new one, the new playset. This is actually a company that takes old Park City playsets, refurbishes them, and then donates them, or you could actually buy them at a reduced cost. So I think they were donated. There's people that sponsor, and luckily they were in Uganda, so we actually didn't have to have it shipped in. We were able to get it here, and we were able to help assemble it and put it together. That was us getting to be men. It was great. It was lots of fun. But the workers here that you see in the background, they did all the major labor. I can't even front like we did all of it. They did like the digging of the post holes. Thank you. They did most of that. They did the a lot of the pouring of the cement. So they did a lot of the work, and they continued it after we left. But we got to be a small part of putting some of the stuff together. My friend Joe there, I just couldn't see if he was in the picture. He's a mechanic, so he was in heaven. There it is, partially put together. After it is that we have done some of the work on it. Again, shout out to the crew there. They did a lot of this work while it is that we were out serving in the community. So just happy to be a part of it. There goes Joe and Monica, as is that we get off. Okay, so the second place that we went to go visit was one of the local villages. And so there goes us getting off of the
so
bus.
then we had the opportunity
Right.
to come to
So
the rock quarry.
It's been amazing being able to be in the rock quarry. This is where women actually pound these big slabs into gravel, and they get paid. And I'll kind of walk through that process. But these ladies, they do this all day long, and a lot of the kids are there with them at the rock quarry. So these kids that you see are ones that they can't actually pouring concrete, right? TW said pouring concrete. So these kids, TW and I have a joke about concrete versus whatever else. So yeah, pouring concrete is what it is that they were doing. We had medical services for them. We got to do praise and worship with them as well. It was just an amazing experience being able to be a part of that. Here's my friend David. The kids were showing him how to smash rocks. You want to talk about humbling? Because as guys, we think it's about brute force, but it's all about technique. So they were showing him the technique, and he got to experience how it is to be able to smash rocks. After David hit his thumb, after Joe hit his thumb, and after Katharina got a blood blister, I was like, you know what? I'll live vicariously through you guys smashing rocks. And good to see y'all have the experience. I did not smash any rocks. There goes Pastor Mark with the kids. Everything with them. He is just such an awesome guy.
That's it for this episode. Join us again next time for The Techie and the Cowboy. Hit us up on our website, thetechieandthecowboy.com. Let us know what y'all think.